I was sitting in the middle of that long line thinking, this is one of the most humiliating moments of my life. But now looking back, I can see how I could have handled that so much differently, and it would have been a lot easier. Hi, my name is Krista, and welcome to Thrive Daily. So, how is potty training going at your house? Potty training at my house has been traumatic, to say the least, both for my children and for myself. We struggled. We struggled a lot. My children did something called withholding. Sure, a lot of you are familiar with that. It can cause encopresis and hard stool and then leaking of that stool, and it's just no fun at all. But I remember one time I was at the fabric store with my two oldest children, and they were just really young, probably just toddlers. And we all know how hard it is to go shopping with two toddlers. Am I right? It can be really stressful. It's like, oh, I need to focus on getting everything that I need, and I need to get it done as quick as possible because you never know what's going to happen with two unpredictable children with you at the store. Any number of nightmarish events can occur. So this was one of those times, and I was feeling that pressure to get everything done quickly. I had my list and went around the store getting everything that I needed. And finally, I went over to the cash register. And of course, there's this huge line. It's backed up. It's the longest it's been since I've been in the store. And I'm just like, oh, great. Here we go. And rather than keep my two children standing still in a line, which is not going to go well, I just let them wander back and forth the main front aisle where I could see them. And so a few minutes after I got in that line, I realized that my daughter had pooped in her pants. And I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed because I could smell it. And I'm like, if I can smell it, guaranteed all these other people in line can probably also smell it. And my thoughts just went racing straight to, I'm a terrible mother. And what must all of these people be thinking? They're probably thinking that I'm the most horrible mother and that I can't get it together as a mom. And I was panicking. I was freaking out inside. Emotionally, I was a wreck and a disaster. And I didn't know what to do. And I was just so embarrassed. I felt like there was no way out of this situation. And I also remember feeling in that moment that I was really reactive towards my children. I wasn't kind and understanding and patient and compassionate, all of those things that I would love to be, wish that I could be as a mom. But I was none of those things in that moment because I was so concerned with how I was being viewed and what people thought of me. And that really hindered me because I just was frozen. I felt like no matter what I did, it was the wrong choice. And I honestly don't remember how I handled the situation, but I remember how stressed and how panicked I felt in that moment. And now, as I look back, I can see that I would have handled that so much better if I had just accepted the reality that I was in and recognized myself that I wasn't the worst mom in the world because my child had an accident in a public place. And I realize now, as a more mature mother, that most parents just kind of laugh and smile. And they're like, oh, I've been there, honey. I totally get it. So most parents understand how hard it can be. I think back now and realize that because I was so panicked, they probably felt that energy and felt panicked and felt like this isn't okay. I don't feel safe in this moment. That's what anxiety is this feeling of not feeling safe. And she was probably already feeling terribly uncomfortable. And instead of bringing her comfort and what she probably needed most in that moment, I brought her more anxiety, which probably just fed that feeling of not feeling safe where she was in her reality. And so I've learned a lot since then, and I can look back and forgive myself for the mistakes that I've made, and I can learn from them. And I can use those experiences to change how I react, change how I respond when things erupt on a daily basis with unpredictable children. That's just kind of how it goes. And we can choose to freak out, or we can choose to be like, oh, here we are again. This is uncomfortable, but I can do this. And it's not the worst thing in the world. And I'm not the worst mother in the world because I let it happen. I remember feeling that way, especially as a new young mom. I felt that every time we went to a restaurant, every time we went to the grocery store, every time we were with family, I felt so responsible for my children's behavior. But now I know that it's okay. Whatever they're doing, it's okay. And it's not a reflection of me. But what can serve as a reflection of me is how I respond, how I handle it. And that's so much more important. So I hope that you've gained something from this story. But before I let you go, I'd love to know in the comments, what is your most humiliating moment in a public place with potty training? I'd love to hear those stories. So go ahead and let me know in the comments. And feel free to share this with a friend who might need a chance to laugh and a chance to relate and an opportunity to learn. So I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like more resources on how to thrive daily as a mother, visit mycorenourishment.com and have an awesome day.